At a business symposium, there will be exactly 5 speakers, L, M, X, Y, Z. So, of course, L, M, X, Y, Z. Each speaker will give exactly 1 speech. So at this point, I'm like, sounds like an ordering game. But I don't know for sure. In either the gold room or the rose room. Oh, okay, wait. Now that sounds like a grouping game, right? Okay. So we're going to have 5 people and we're going to try to put them into 2 rooms. So you could say, okay, I got the gold room and I got the rose room, right? Those are my groups. And then it says in each room there will be exactly 1 speech at 1 and exactly 1 at 2. In one of the rooms yet to be determined, there will also be a speech at 3. Okay, so what we have here is we have like 1, 2, and then a third will go in either place, right? Now my preference is to deal with ordering stuff left to right rather than up and down. So it's completely logical to leave this diagram like this and draw the rules according to this, but my preference is to go ahead and flip it on its side because then I have my ordering going left to right. Did anyone do that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so in any case, it's not wrong to do it horizontally or vertically. It's doesn't matter. It's just when I think about this, I'm like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, or really I don't know which one is going to be 3, but 1, 2, and then the third one. It's just it's easier for me to deal with ordering left right. Now I would, before even looking at the rules, probably split this game right here and just say, okay, well, either I'm going to have the 3 up here or 1, 2, 3. Oops, not 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, are you guys okay with that? That's a possibility. I mean, this is kind of a mess. I wish I had more space. That's what I'm thinking in my head. But let's just go ahead and look at these rules and see what happens. So M's must be earlier than L's and in the same room. Okay, so I don't know whether it's top or bottom, but M is going to be before L and it's going to be in the same row, right? So either it's going to be up here or it's going to be down here. I know M has to come before L, but there could be space in between. Neither X nor Y can be earlier than Z. Okay, that's a negative rule. They can't come before Z, so what does that mean about them?
It's always after the Z.
Well, they can't be before, and in a normal ordering game that would mean that they have to come after, but in this game, what other option is there?
But they must be in the different row. If Z is in the first, so the Y X must be in 2 and 3.
That's saying that they have to come after, and they could come. What were you gonna say?
At the same time.
They could come at the same time in this game because it's just saying that neither X nor Y can be earlier. So you could have Z, and then you could have X or Y at the same time because it's not earlier, it's at the same time. So one thing we could do here is we could say, okay, so I have Z, and I know that one of the X's or Y's has to come after. So I'm going to do X or Y, right? Because you can't have both at the same time, right? There's not enough space. And then the other one either could be with it or later. Just trying to figure out what has to happen. You guys okay with this symbol here? So, if I have Z, then I'm going to have one of them come, X or Y has to come after it, and the other one could be with it, or it could be after it. Okay, if L is in G, then X and Z, I don't know, anyways, I can't talk anymore. They have to be in R. Okay, so if L is up here, if L is in gold, then X and Z have to be in R. Oh, this is a little misleading because we don't know if this is going to be the third. If L is up there, then X and Z have to be in R, which means Z is going to be before X, right? So Z before X. Sound good? So if L is on the top row, Z and X are on the bottom row. A quick review of if-then statements. When does this if-then statement matter? When does it not matter?
It matters when L is in G, but not when L is in R.
That's right. So when L is in G, we know this is going to happen, and when L is in R, what happens? X and Z are in G.
We don't know.
We don't know, right? Yeah. We just don't want to make that mistake and like think that something has to happen with X and Z. It's either L is here and this happens, or L is down here and nothing happens, as far as we know, other than M would have to come. Okay, so I saw that some of us did worlds. What did we decide to do worlds on the basis of? Yes?
M and L, but with that last one, don't you also want to think of the contrapositive too, or no?
The contrapositive?
Or if then?
No, it doesn't matter actually. So if L is in G,
Yeah.
then Z and X have to be in R. If L is in R, then it's dead. So I would just think about those two scenarios. Especially if you're going to do worlds. So like the contrapositive matters if you don't do worlds. Right? The contrapositive matters in the sense that if Z ends up coming up here, or X, then I can't have L up here, right? But especially in a game like this where L can only go in two places, and knowing where L goes now means you know what happens with this rule, whether it's activated or dead, and then it also affects M. Like we don't have to ever think about the contrapositive again.
So that's just for this game though, right? Like if there's another game, if it's like, if Linda is in whatever and Mike is in, then we'd have to.
Yeah, like if you keep the if-then statement, then you do have to be able to either write down the contrapositive or know how to spot the contrapositive in that chain. Is that what you're wondering?
Yeah.
You don't seem confident. So what's your concern about the contrapositive? You did worlds here, right?
Remember when you said what we have an if-then statement, right? And you're like,
Yep.
okay, what do you know? What kills the if-then?
What kills the if-then? Yeah.
Or what like if the if is satisfied,
Yep.
then it's good.
Then in this case, if L is in G, then the rule gets triggered
Right.
and we play it out, right?
And I thought the rule also gets triggered when the then is not satisfied.
That is correct. When the then is not satisfied, then the rule gets triggered.
Into the contrapositive.
Yes, because if this doesn't happen, then that can't happen. But I guess what I'm saying is you don't even need to worry about any of that if you create worlds on the basis of L. And so a lot of times in games where I have a one-off if-then statement, I will focus in on the if clause of that if-then statement and create two worlds. Because then the rule dies, right? Like in one situation it's applied and in the other situation it's gone. And then you don't ever have to think about the contrapositive, you don't even have to diagram it, it's over. And in this game, so like if-then statements are kind of a trigger for worlds. It's like, oh, should I do if-then statement, or should I do worlds on the basis of L, on the basis of the if clause? And it's like, yeah, actually I should, because not only would that help get rid of that, it's going to tie into M, so all of a sudden I know something else. Like it seems very beneficial. Okay, so I would create two worlds. Let's see here. We got G, and we have R. And we have 1, 2, 1, 2. One in which L is on the top, and one in which L is on the bottom, right? And to keep things, let's do the 1, 2 here. We do G, R, 1, 2, 1, 2. I mean, I guess I don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but it also seems very beneficial to just go ahead and split these two worlds into one in which you have G going being the one with 3 and then R being the one with 3. Because if I do that, then everything's set in stone and I can just start plopping these things in. So 4 worlds, it doesn't seem like that much to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and write this all out. So 1, 2, up here I'll go ahead and do G3. Let's just go ahead and do G3, G3, and then R3, GR. Okay, so in these 2 worlds, G goes 3 times. In these 2 worlds, R goes 3 times. Up here, I'm going to have, let's see here, I'm going to have L go ML on the top, and then ML on the bottom. So, or no, ML top, ML top. So ML top right here is easy because it's got to be like this, right? And ML top up here, I don't know exactly where it goes, so I'll just have it kind of floating up here. But what happens when ML is on top? That means, well, actually, let's not talk about that for a second. So then over here, we have ML on the bottom and ML on the bottom. Are you guys cool with this? So that was a little confusing because I did the 2 splits at the same time. But basically, I said, okay, let me create 2 worlds where ML is on top, 1 with 3 and then 1 with 2. And then 2 worlds with ML on the bottom, 1 with 3 and then 1 with 2. Anyone lost? Yeah.
How do we generally decide how many worlds do we have to make?
Well, so initially, if we created worlds on the basis of ML, we would only have to create 2 worlds because it's either on the top or it's on the bottom, right? And that's the end of story. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to create 1 where it's on top, and then 1 where it's on bottom, but I wanted to then split these, like when it's on bottom, split it into 2. So that's how we ended up into 4. Because I took both of those options and I split them again based on this, right? That's just so I can like, oh, now I don't have to have any worry about, oh, how many are in this group. Okay, so I'm thinking that these ones right here are really easy to fill out because if your group is full, that means everyone else has to go in the other group, right? So who's left down here? ZXY. Do we know anything about them?
Yes.
Z's got to be first. It's got to come before both of them. What's going to be true about XY?
We don't know.
We don't know, right? They're not treated any differently, so you can just go ahead and put XY and then have an arc going back and forth. Okay? Up here, that's going to be the exact same thing, right? You're going to have Z, and then you're going to go ahead and put XY, and then an arc, because I don't see why one would have to come before the other. Sound good? Okay, now those are done. Let's go ahead and deal with this one. If ML is on top, what do you know? Z and X are in the bottom, right? So that's just based on that rule right here. So Z comes down here, X goes there. Who's left? Y. Do you know anything about Y?
It's gotta be 2 or 3.
Why does it have to be 2 or 3?
No, it could be 1.
It could be 1, right? Because it just can't be before Z. So really Y is a floater. So I'm going to do a comma, and then I'm going to put the Y there to show that Y can go anywhere. So it could be in 1, it could be in 2, and it could be in 3. Okay? Down here, if ML is down here, what happens with the L rule? Does, right? So I don't care about this rule. This rule right here has already been taken care of. I have ML together. So this is the only rule that's left, right? Okay, so Z has to be with or before both of these things. If Z were up top, it would have to be in 1, right? Because I couldn't put it here because then X or Y would have to go there. If Z is down here, could it be in 2?
No,
What would happen if it were in 2?
because one of the X and Y would be before.
Yeah, X and Y would have to come up here, and then one of them would be before, right? So it's like, I don't know whether Z is up here or down here, but either way, Z's got to be in 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move ML down a little bit. I'm going to say, okay, ML is somewhere on this bottom row. I don't know where, but I'm going to give myself room to write Z going back and forth. So Z's going back and forth. I can see some people splitting that. How many of you want to split that? Okay, it's easy. It's like, okay, well, Z's got 2 places. Let's just end this game, right? So, okay, it's kind of like, I'll do a small world right here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Either Z is up top or Z is at the bottom. Is that too small? Can you guys see that? Okay, so if it's on the top, who goes next to it? X or Y. So I'll just put that in there. And then the other X or Y can go anywhere. So it's just going to be in the bottom. So I'm going to do X or Y, and then I'm going to do a comma to show that it can go in any order in relationship to M or L, right? Okay, up here, this one is actually a little bit easier. What happens in this situation? Remember, ML is on the bottom. So this is going to be ZML. And then X and Y are left, so they just have to go up here in any order. It's kind of a funky little small world down there. But in any case, that's everything. That means, let's see, this game has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh. Do you guys know how many different ways these things can be arranged down here? Here's a quick way to do it.
6.
6? How'd you figure that out? Multiply. So if this is X, you have 3 options for Y. And if this is Y, you have 3 options for X. So that's 6. So 9 plus 6 is 15. That means this game can only be arranged in 15 different ways. You're shaking your head.
Yeah, only 15.
Does that sound like a lot to you or very few?
A lot.
Sounds like a lot, really. Well, to me, it doesn't actually sound like that many. Most games are between 8 and like 16. And then there are some games where you have like 140 different arrangements. Those are those games where you have like ordering and they're like Z is before T and T is before S and S is before Q and R, right? Like those webs, those tend to be like 100, 140 different options. So compared to those, it's nice, but yeah, okay, maybe more than we want. In any case, let's go to question 8. Which of the following could be the speeches given in each room? The thing about worlds is that they do take a little time to set up, but you also tend to be more familiar with the rules. So in this case, I didn't even look at the rules. What rules do you guys remember? What's the easy one? Can you recall one without even looking at them?
M and L have to be in the same room.
Yeah, M and L have to be in the same room and in that order, right? So that's going to get rid of D because it's in the wrong order, and it's going to get rid of E because they're in different rooms. Okay, what's another easy rule? If L is on the top, right, Z and X have to be on the bottom. Okay, that's a problem for C, so that's out. Okay. Oh, and then Z has to be, or Y and X can't be before Z. That's a huge problem in B, so the answer is A. Okay, let's go to the next one. 9. Which of one pairs of speeches cannot be given at the same time? Could L and Y be given at the same time? You just have to see it once and you're done. Where are you seeing it?
In the second and the third ones.
Yeah, right here. Y could come over and L and Y would be at the same time. Same here, right? Okay, so that's out. How about L and Z? No. Could L and Z be together here at the same time? No, because the earliest the L could be is 2. Here? No. Here? Same problem, because the earliest the L could be is 2, and here it can't be happening. So L and Z can never be at the same time. 5 worlds did never happen. That's got to be the answer. 10. If X is at 3, which of the following cannot be true? Oh boy. Okay, if x is at 3, I'm in this world, I'm in this world, I'm not in this world, I'm in this world. That sucks. We're in 3 worlds. You guys follow me here? We're in 3 worlds and x is in 3. This is where worlds gets a little tricky. Which one of mine cannot be true? Okay, remember that x is in 3. Can L be at the same time as y? Well, if x is in 3, L is in this. Oh, sorry, at the same room. L is in the same room as y. Okay. Well, actually, L and y are not in the same room. If x is at 3, can L be in the same room as y? In this world down here? Why not?
They're split in that world between them.
Yeah, so if x is down here in 3, then y is up here. It's not with L, right? It's not in the same room. Up here, L and y are in different rooms. So actually, in the 3 worlds in which x could be 3, L and y can never be in the same room, so that's the answer. Okay, let's keep going. 11. Which of mine could be a complete and accurate list of the speeches given in the gold room in the order in which they occur? Okay, gold room is top room. How about LM? Actually, that's never going to work because it's got to be ML, right? So that's out. MY? Well, that's fine, except you need L, so this isn't complete, right? Okay? C, MYL. Okay, I'm seeing that right here. MYL. It might happen in other places, but it doesn't matter because it's just a could be true question. So as long as it can happen, that's the answer. 12. If y is at 1, which of mine could be true? If y is at 1, it looks like I'm in this world right here. I'm not in this world. I could be in this world. I could be in this world. Okay, so I'm in these 3 worlds. This sucks a little bit. These 3 worlds, y is in 1. Sound good? That's what we have to remember. Okay, which one of mine could be true? Could L be in 1 in the gold room? Okay, if y is in 1, then L can't be in the gold room at 1, can't be in the gold room at 1, can't be in the gold room at 1. Sound good? Okay? Okay, y is at 1, can L be at 2 in the rows? No. No, because y is at 1, L would have to come after M. Y is at 1, oh that's here actually. Y is at 1, L is at 3. Okay, so that can't be true. Okay, if y is at 1, could M be at 2 in the gold room? Well, okay, y at 1, M at 2 in the gold room. That works. So, I'll just stop there. Okay, last one, 13. This is a substitution question. We haven't talked a lot about these in class yet, but the bottom line is that you're being asked to take one rule and replace it with a different rule, and the game will not be changed in any way, shape, or form. Does anyone know what this means about the wrong answers? How do you guys answer these questions? You're like, I have 4 or 5 choices, and I choose one of them. Does anyone have a strategy? Okay, so one thing to keep in mind is that the wrong answers are going to do one of 2 things. They're either going to impose too many restrictions on the game, right? Like, what rule are we getting rid of? We're getting rid of the rule that neither x nor y can be earlier than z. So we're getting rid of this rule, and we need to replace it with another rule that does the exact same thing. So the wrong answers, when they replace that rule, will either restrict the game too much, or they won't restrict it enough. Okay? So I like to think of it as like you had a dictator before, and we're looking for a new dictator to come in and do the exact same things as the old dictator. And sometimes the new dictators are like really strict, and they, curfew's now at 9 for everybody, and everybody's like, hey, we didn't have that before. And sometimes the new dictator comes in and is like, yeah, do whatever you want, and you're like, okay, well now you're not a great replacement for the old dictator. Okay, so every time I talk about these questions, I think of Saddam for some reason. But in any case, let's look at these answers, and you tell me whether you think it's too strong of a replacement or too weak or just right. If you don't like dictators, you're like not into that, think about Goldilocks, right? Okay, it's got to be just right. A, Long's speech must be at 3 p.m. So if a new dictator came in and said, hey, L has to be at 3, will that recreate these conditions? What do you guys think? Does that sound like too strict or too weak? Okay, wait, I hear a nomination. What are you thinking?
I said 2 week.
Okay, why do you say that's too weak?
Because if L is at 3, you could still have Z at 2.
You
and
could
then
have Z at 2 and then X before it.
Yeah.
Excellent. So the sad thing about A is that this new dictator is not only too weak, but also too strong. Why is this dictator too strong at the same time?
There are some situations where L is in 2.
There are some situations where L is in 2. So this new dictator came in and was like, hey, L has to be at 3. And everybody's like, whoa, we didn't have that before, and you're still not doing anything else for Z or X or whatever, right? So, like, this is bad, bad, bad. All right, let's take a look. But by the way, as long as you see that it's either too weak or too strong, you're done, right? Because it has to be perfect. So either one of those would knock it out. Let's take a look at B. M's speech cannot be earlier than Z's. Okay, M can't be earlier than Z. Let me ask you this. Is that too strong? Is this dictator too restrictive? I see some of you nodding or shaking your head no. Why not?
M was never earlier in all these scenarios.
M was never earlier than Z. So when this new dictator comes in and says, M, you cannot be before Z, that's okay, because that was true before. Is this too weak, though? It's not too strong. You're saying it's too weak. Why is it too weak in your mind?
Because it doesn't do, has no bearing on the rule we care about.
Has no bearing whatsoever.
Not enough bearing.
If M can't be earlier than Z, what places could Z be?
Any except 3.
Yeah, it could be in any except 3, so it can be in 1 or 2, right? Now, if it's in 2, what could also happen?
X or Y could be before it.
X or Y could be before it. So this answer choice is not too strong, but it's not strong enough. You guys okay with that? All right. I know this is a little like mental gymnastics, but if you're going to skip a question, it's probably going to be this one. Right, in terms of time, like just skip it, do the next game, and if you have time, come back to this one. Substitution questions tend to take time. Okay, either X or Y must be after Z. Oh, hey, what do you think about this dictator? This dictator comes in and says, hey, either X or Y has to be after Z. Is that going too far? Wait, you're nodding your head. Why is that going too far?
Well, it's putting like multiple conditions on the rule. I don't know how to put it, but I think
Okay, so in the old regime,
I'm thinking and.
you're thinking and.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it had said both X and Y must be after Z, that would be going further than the old regime, right? Well, hey, we only had to have one of them after. But we did have to have one of them after, right? Because you can't put both of them at the same time as Z, so at least one of them had to be after. So this answer of the 3 we've seen so far is the most tempting because yes, this is true. This was true before and so it's true now. My question is it strong enough? It's definitely not going too far because this was true before. But is it strong enough to complete the rule? Because the rule not only said you have to have at least one of these guys after, it also said what? none of them can be before, right? So would this prevent any of them from going before Z? Yeah?
So like if you have one after, but that satisfies the rule, but that means the other one could be.
That means the other one could come before. Right? Like this says, okay, hey, I'm going to come in and I'm going to force you to put at least one of them after. And you're like, okay, what's going to happen to the other one? I don't know. The other one could come before. So this rule isn't strong enough. Did anyone pick this answer? Yeah. That was very tempting. It's very close. It's just not quite strong enough. So, because it's not strong enough, it's wrong. D, either X or Y or both must be at 2. Okay, under the old rules, did X or Y have to be at 2? At least one of them? In every single scenario, we had X or Y at 2. So this isn't saying more than what was ever done before. Is it strong enough though? If one of them has to be at 2,
Same problem as the last one.
same problem as last one. Okay, you got one at 2. Where's the other one? I don't know. Maybe it's before Z in 1 and Z is in 2. Like this isn't strong enough. All right, E. Z is at 1. Okay, this answer choice on the surface sounds too strong in some ways. Like Z has to be at 1. But it definitely gets the job done, right? If Z is at 1, then X or Y has to be at the same time as Z or after it. The question is it going too far by forcing Z to be 1? Could Z ever be 2? It can't. Why? What happens if Z is at 2 and you follow this rule? If Z is at 2, what's going to be with it? X or Y, right? And then the other one is going to be after it at 3. Why is that a problem?
Can't do ML together.
ML cannot be together now, right? Because then they'd have to be both at 1. And that's not possible. Because M and L are going to be in the same room and they're going to be at different times. So, you can never put Z at 2. Of course you can't put Z at 3 because then everything is before it. So Z does always have to be at 1. So although this answer sounds like it's overkill, it's actually consistent with the original rules. The rules never said this, but this is going to be true. That's why E is correct. How many people picked E? Just curious. Yay. Alright. Questions on this game? Questions on worlds? Questions on games in general? Can you plug it in? Yes, you can plug in your computer. Alright.